Right, hello, good day to you, wherever you're watching from in the world. Hello, I'm Gary, and this is Watch Along Leeds. And a lot to discuss. If you read the title and description, what I try to do is create an agenda so that we try and stay on topic, try and keep it focused so that we know what we're talking about. And I've got to say, I'll just read that for you very quickly, or tell you a little bit about that, just in case you haven't seen it already or you're unable to see it. And we're trying to construct it so that it kind of flows, right? So that it has flow, it has structure, and you can see that we're trying to have a meaningful conversation here about our beloved club, Leeds United, and where we are. How did we get here? I mean, I think most of us know that, but I'm always open to hear your suggestions. Perhaps there's things that I miss. Perhaps there's things that you know that nobody else knows. It's interesting. So these are my opening remarks, of course, which I'm going to get into in a moment. What went wrong at West Ham is number 2 on the agenda. Who goes? Who stays? Players. Will the 49ers save us? And what ideas or what things can you think of that would save us next season? Or should I say save us next season? Or get us back to title-winning ways? Can we win the championship next season? And if we're going to do that, how are we going to do it? I heard one statistic say that we've never won a playoff in the championship or the lower division. So if we are going to come back, it sounds like to me we're going to have to try and come back as champions of the championship. I can honestly say that, in my opinion, we've had mismanagement right from the top this season, a host of bad decision making ever since Bielsa left. It sounds to me like Orta got lucky, perhaps, with Bielsa. When you look at Bielsa's record, he came in and did an unbelievable job for us, turning average players, signing a couple of other unknown talents, getting them to gel, getting them to play together. And I think most importantly, when we look back at that season in the championship, those 2 seasons under Bielsa, we were way fitter than everybody else. And this is something that Luke Ayling mentioned post West Ham, that fitness might be a problem. I don't know if it's fitness or if it's fatigue after a long season that has brought disappointment after disappointment. And I think after so many disappointments, the mentality side of it starts kicking in. Players are drained, players are tired, players are easily getting injured, players are going down 60th, 70th minute with cramp. A lot of running has been done, but as far as Leeds are concerned, not enough running. And I think when we look at some of the things that's gone on during that Jesse Marsh era, things looked okay, didn't they, to begin with? We picked up the points. He saved us on the final day of the season, and it just got worse from the end of last season, didn't it? We started picking up some results. Wasn't anything spectacular going into Christmas that last season. I think it was the Liverpool, or this season, isn't it? It's Liverpool game. We got a victory. Got a victory against, was it Chelsea as well at home? Bournemouth, I think we beat a couple of teams at home, and we seemed to be doing all right. And then he went, the World Cup happened, and it just all seemed to fall apart. Was the World Cup something to do with that? I have my suspicions and say yes. Certainly other teams and other players have pointed to having the World Cup during the winter time as having a detrimental effect to their season. It's not a normal thing to do during the winter time, as we all know. We usually play that during the summer. And now we're finding ourselves staring at relegation. And it's not looking good, to be quite honest with you. It's looking highly, highly unlikely that we're going to get out of it. So unlikely, in fact, that there's a 95% chance we're going to get relegated on Sunday. So, I assume that we're looking at plans and preparation for that event, that we are going to go down. There are sides nearby us who have, they've underperformed this season. You look at the likes of Southampton, 24 points, been relegated a week or two now. Then there's us, 31, Leicester 31, Everton 33, Nottingham Forest safe 37. Interestingly, Nottingham Forest have won 3 out of the last 5 games, drawing 1 and losing 1. Leicester 3 draws, 2 losses. Us 3 draws, 2 losses. So 3 losses, 2 draws. I beg your pardon. And Southampton is just red. Total loss altogether for them. We are a complete joke of a club, aren't we? And you can see the background there. I've put the exit sign on that we're indicating that we're all but done, I think, in the Premier League now, barring an absolute miracle on Sunday. We're just done. I looked at the players at the end of that game, and I thought, they look totally knackered, they look totally dejected, and some of them just don't even look like they care, to be quite honest with you. And I'm going to show you something today that's coming out around Twitter, if you haven't already seen it. Training has been conducted today, and I'm going to see, in fact, I'm going to flick through these, and then hopefully we'll watch them together, and you could tell me what you think. Personally, I'll tell you what I think in a moment or two. I think the best thing to do is view the pictures. Okay, so just give me a second while I do that now. If you want to join, I believe that the link is at the top, but it is strictly for 13 and over only, in accordance with YouTube terms and conditions. This stream isn't intended for children. It could get a bit spicy in here. A lot of people are upset with what's gone on. I'm upset. I think we've had a season of, like I said, bad decisions. One bad decision after another bad decision. There's no consistency in the club. There's no leadership. Radrazani, if the reports are to be believed, should I say, Radrazani is done. He's done at Leeds United. He's cashing in his chips as we speak, and he's already purchasing Sampdoria, a club that's on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, we talk about things that could be worse, and Radrazani, if he's going to go into Sampdoria, it's mooted that he's going to be throwing in 50 million to save that club. Why bother? Why bother? And I can hear some people saying, why would you do that? You've got a club here that's profitable, that's reasonably stable. We've got new backers coming in. We've got new money coming in. And you're pissing off, and you're going to go and put your brass into Italian football. Well, I mean, the guy's Italian, right? I don't know who his boy club hero club is, but if it is Sampdoria, that makes sense. If it isn't, what does make sense is he's a businessman. He operates as a business. That basically means, where does he see the greatest opportunity for profit? Where does he see the greatest opportunity for making money? Where does he see the most potential? it's quite clear that he doesn't. Two things: either he doesn't see the potential in Leeds, or three things, should I say, or the amount of investment that's going to be needed to restructure this club from the top down is going to be very expensive when considering you could buy another football club for a lot less money. An entire football club, all its assets, all its liabilities, for a lot less money. When a company goes or is about to go bankrupt, you'll be able to buy the assets there for next to nothing. It'll be cheap money. A famous football club in Italy is I mean, I can't believe it that they're on the verge of such diabolical financial circumstances. But that's happened to us in the past, hasn't it? We were there under after the Ridsdale years. We were in a total mess. I mean, that guy was just gambling and writing checks that he just weren't able to cash. He just didn't able to cash them. And the banks were literally, apparently at the time, throwing money at him, throwing money at Leeds United, and all on the premise that we're going to get Champions League football, possibly go on and win the Champions League. We made it to the semi-final, and then after that, we just fell to pieces. It just beggars belief, but you sit there, you're thinking, yeah, we've got to remain positive. There's nothing positive to remain at the moment. We're getting relegated on Sunday, and that is the end of it. That's another closing off the chapter of Premier League football, brief as it was for 3 years. 2 years of hard work have gone in. I wouldn't call this season hard work. I don't think they've worked hard enough. We haven't worked hard enough. We've squandered chance after chance after chance, and not only that, when the opponent, whoever it is, has had the opportunity, their chances have been taken, and we've been punished, and rightly so. We've been absolutely punished. I just, from the team selections, when the teams are coming out and you see them positioning and on the pitch, we're talking about strategy, and this is where I wonder if there is a lot of theory going on in the training ground. Are they actually going to the classroom to review what's been going on? Are they going to the classroom to review their personal performances? Because when I think you look back at some of the personal performances, if it were me, I'd be hanging my head in absolute shame. Some of them, I just don't see how we're missing the fundamentals, the basic fundamentals of defending. Right, defending, goal scoring's part of it. Bamford is part of it, but the idea that we've shipped 74 goals, a new Premier League record, in a season, is unbelievable for me. 23 of those goals came in April. If we look back at the grander picture, April is the month where we were just completely done. I looked at that fixture list in April. I said we need to be aiming for 12 points, and we picked up one. We picked up 1 point in April, and we're going down. You can't say we were unlucky. You can't say we don't deserve it. We do deserve it. We've been terrible, absolutely terrible in April. Performances worthy of, just not worthy of the shirt. It is appalling how we've ended up getting beaten by the likes of Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Liverpool, and not getting beaten, well and truly hammered. Those hammerings that we had at home were just awful to watch. Awful. We look at Jesse Marsh, the signings that Orta's backed him. Radrazani has obviously signed off on it. I mean, he's the man with the money, and we just seem to be a complete mess. Look at those 3 lads have brought in from USMNT. They're probably very good players in a pedestrian league, right? When I say pedestrian league, slow, single pace football, Juventus, Western McKennie, these teams in Austria, Leipzig or wherever we've got Aronson from. Tyler Adams is the only shining light that we've had in the transfer market. I can't say Robbles because I think we already had Robbles at that point. I don't think Jesse Marsh was anything to do. I might be wrong. You tell me who signed Robbles. It's just a complete and utter mess from the top to bottom, and I think I've tried to represent that in the thumbnail for today's stream. That led by Patrick Bamford. I think he's on his way. We'll discuss that later on. But I think honestly, we're done in the Premier League, man, Josh. There's no escaping it. If Everton and Leicester drew and we win by a 3-goal deficit, or we win and Everton and Leicester lose, we will stay up. Man, Josh, it ain't happening. There isn't any chance in this universe that we're going to beat Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday by 3 clear goals and not concede. It just thinks that is just not going to happen. They got beaten by Bournemouth, was it 3-1? And Bournemouth are a good side. Compared to us, they're a good side. We're absolutely terrible. We can't defend. We can't boss a game in midfield. And we're struggling to score goals. The best performance we had was at Wolves, I thought, this season. And one of the best performances. And since then, we've just gone on, and we keep talking about survival. We shouldn't be, a club our size shouldn't be surviving. We should be thriving in the Premier League. We have got the players. We've got some players, but we just haven't had it managed properly. We've had turmoil at the top with Grathia. I still think that there are problems in that dressing room. All right, I think there's 1 or 2 players in there that are leading a bit of a, splitting the squad. There's no unity. There's no communication amongst some players, and I think that it's actually quite a toxic place to be quite honest with you. I think we're in a real mess. There's no way we're going to be in the Premier League at 6:30 on Sunday afternoon. Sunday evening, should I say. Not a chance. I have a terrible feeling what it feels like to experience relegation for the first. Some of us like me are old enough to know about it. I've seen it before. I mean, I saw it back when we got relegated, and it's just gutting. I recommend that if you're going to get upset, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Switch yourself off from football. And what I mean by that is, don't even think about Leeds United on Sunday. Just don't think about it. Because I'll be doing this watch along, and I'll tell you, I don't know how I'm going to react. I really don't. In fact, I do, and it depends what happens. There isn't a chance we're stopping up, my friend. We're done. Absolutely done. We have literally made it the impossible possible. And if we think back to Radrazani, he said that it's impossible to get relegated from the Premier League. It would have been right had we had some decent finishers, some decent defenders, some decent midfielders, but we've got none of it. We've got absolutely none of it. Those signings with Orta and Jesse Marsh and the guys who we've sent out on loan, in order to obey the FFP, or fair play rules, or whatever they want to call them, it beggars belief. How have we sent? I mean, I rated Geldart when we had him. I thought when he came on the pitch, even as a sub, Uh, he could turn a game for us. He'd get on there and he'd be snapping at the defenders' heels, snapping at the midfielders' heels, chasing down, getting stuck in and really, really grafting for the team. Look, tell me one player that does that at the moment, or one player that did that against West Ham. Nobody. Nobody. We're now getting excuses that we're too tired, we're suffering from fatigue, blah blah blah. There ain't anybody in that side against West Ham, bar Willie Nonto, and I thought Willie Nonto were going to get sent off at one point because he had a few petulant moments, and I think he ended up, if I'm right, he might have ended up with another yellow card. Wilfred. Yeah, I don't know. It's just heartbreaking. It is just heartbreaking. I can't believe what happened against West Ham. How bad we were, and it is just a carbon copy of the other games that we've had this season where we've lost 25 points lost from winning positions. 25. We're on 31 at the moment. Are we on 31? Yeah, 31. So that puts us on 56. We'd have been, if we'd have managed to see out the games where we were winning, we'd have been up between Tottenham and Aston Villa, 8th and 9th spot respectively. Aston Villa, beg your pardon, 58 points. Tottenham, 57. Now, Tottenham are having a spectacular fall from grace at the moment. If we go back to when Conte were in charge, they were top 4 and they were talking about European football. And I believe there's some statistic flying about somewhere that, and I mean, this will show me, won't it? They've lost, is it 5 of the last 6 games? And then drawn 1? It's going to be interesting to see that, isn't it? Last results for Tottenham Hotspur: lost against Aston Villa, lost against Brentford, beat Crystal Palace. I don't know how the hell they did that. 6th of May. Lost against Liverpool, got pummeled by Newcastle, drew against Man United. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, isn't it? 6 games. They have yet to play us. Tottenham and West Ham to be decided. That's. I don't know. Oh, I think they're entering some sort of pre-season tournament by the look of this. We're not interested in that. We're just interested in the Premier League. So that's 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses, and 1 draw. That's it, isn't it? They did beat Brighton on the April the 6th, and they've had a number of draws since the sack Conte as well. Everton, Tottenham, that was one apiece. 3 apiece against Southampton in March 18th. And I think they beat Forest. When did they sack Conte? I can't remember. They also got knocked out of the FA Cup by Sheffield United. So there is a hope, man, Josh. There is a hope. There is a slim chance that we'll beat Tottenham. But even then, we're going to be relying on results from elsewhere. That we can't rely on these other teams. I think the 2 that we're relying on is it West Ham and Bournemouth? Is it? So yeah, let me just have a look here, because it's just sickening. It is just sickening to think that we're going to be relying on West Ham, a team who we've just played against, West Ham are playing Leicester. Alright, so that's at Leicester. So West Ham have got to go to Leicester. We're relying on West Ham to beat Leicester, and they're on. Them guys are absolutely knackered. They're all tired, and they've got more fixtures than we've had. They've been playing this. They've been playing this European Conference, whatever it is, 2 games a week. Why can't I mute that? Just give me a second, because I'm just worried that you're gonna get some fit there. That's it. So we're done. We're absolutely done, mate. I'm afraid we're done. We're totally done. Why does it keep doing that? I just muted it. Just give me a second. What I'm trying to do is mute everything, so you don't get any feedback down the line. Right, so we've had it. I have a terrible feeling of what it. Yeah. Right, so Jesus Christ, YouTube, stop it. Right, are you there? Is that better? Right. It's like when I put my phone down, for some reason it just puts the volume on. I don't know. So yeah, let's do the same again. It's unmuting itself. Maybe I need to just exit that live stream. I'll exit the app. That's it. So it beggars belief that we've gone to West Ham. We've gone a goal up. We've gone a goal up, and then is the audio working all right? My dad supports Spurs, so he'll be taunting me. I don't think your dad will be, mate. I don't think he will. I don't think your dad will be. I think he'll know that you're upset. I don't think he'll taunt you too much. I think you'll be all right. Your dad won't be too bothered. I think he'll just say, it is what it is, and that's literally it, man, Josh. You're done. And Spurs still have places to play for, right? So it is only one place, all right, or 2 places, should I say? I've just been having a look at the Premier League table, but that distraction has really thrown me. What's happened is the computer has changed the speaker audio output. So I was thinking it's coming off my phone. It wasn't coming off my phone. It's coming out the speakers of the computer. Spurs. We look at Spurs. Well, they could still jump Villa. All right, they could still jump Villa. There is a possibility that they might end up then in the European Conference, I think. But it depends. I think a lot depends on what Man City do in the Champions League final. If they win it, I think that we might get an extra space in the European Cup spots. That's what's happened in the past. If a team goes on and wins 2 or 3 ways to the same competition, that they can open a place in the league. But it just depends on what they're doing, doesn't it? I think Man City. I think, to be honest with you, I think Man City they're gonna win that Champions League final. So yeah, Joel Robles signed from Real Betis. Yeah, when was that then? When did we get Joe Robles? I cried my eyes out against West Ham when we conceded 3 goals. Yeah. It's the same. It's like carbon copies of other games. Is that game? I mean, I know Sam made all the changes, but you just sat there and you're thinking, we know that we can't defend 1-goal leads. We know that we're terrible at defending. We know that if we score a goal and we go ahead, we need to push on and get ourselves 2, 3 4 goals to make sure that we bury the match. And this has happened to us time and time again. When we have gone in the lead, we've sat off, invited the pressure from the other teams, hoping to pick them off on the break. We've not had the speed, we've not had the power or the pace up front for those quick balls, those long balls, or that quick play out from the back. And other teams have found us out. You know, they found us out under Jesse Marsh about what we're likely to do. They've set up for it. They're prepared. They know exactly what resources they're going to commit forward, what resources they're going to keep at the back and hold that line. And then at least if Leeds do try and counter-attack, they've got enough cover to stop a goal or to stop a player getting forward, getting a runner on the ball. I mean, that centre-back from West Ham, I can't remember, was it Gomer, is it? So I can't remember his bloody name. But anyway, the centre-back, if you recall, he got subbed off. And they said it was some kind of injury or something like that. I mean, it might well be that he's probably still hungover. You know, I mean, for somebody like me in my 40s, I couldn't drink like I used to drink back in my 20s. Right, when I was in my 20s, I could go out, get absolutely blasted. 3 a.m. in the morning. I could be back in work at 7 or 8 a.m. and you wouldn't even know I'd been out unless you could smell the alcohol. So you know, when you're in your 20s, you're in your prime. Going out and getting drunk doesn't really cause you. You shouldn't be suffering from it unless it's a serious amount. Which I doubt it is for a professional footballer, you know. And apparently they got back on at 1 a.m. on Friday morning. Did West Ham, so they've had then probably go have a few hours kip later on in the training ground, bit of light training, Friday afternoon, light training Saturday. Sunday we play Leeds. You should be all right by then. There's none of them guys have been hungover. So I think he probably, you know, some people are making out as if to say, you know, oh, you know, they were all no, they weren't hungover, mate. They weren't hungover. They wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been hungover at all. I don't know where all that's come from. I mean, they've literally got themselves to the final, so it's not even an occasion worth celebrating. It just defies belief. A lot of the stuff that's going around online, you know. It was Zuma who got subbed on the 45th minute, and I mean, he was having a terrible game for him. You know, misplaced passes, struggled running, getting around the pitch. And we just didn't capitalise on that, in my opinion. I mean, that goal from Rodrigo was just absolutely fantastic. I went nuts when that went in. But apart from that, that was the only good part of the game. Rodrigo, you know, I rate Rodrigo, but then he ended up getting injured during that match. But because we had no recognised centre forward, and apparently it's something to do with Ruter's contract. You know, people were probably, a lot of people are jumping up and down saying, well, why didn't we put Ruter on and get Rodrigo off? Well, by then I think we'd made, most of our subs were made by the 62nd minute. That Greenwood came on the 84th. But Rodrigo had been injured for a long time during that match. And when you keep players on the pitch who are injured, you're not doing them any favours and likely only worsening the injury for that player. So it makes me think that, you know, all right, we're going to end up getting bent over by Hoffenheim for a massive amount of money if we play Ruter. Why, if that's the case, why are we even putting him on the bench anyway? And how is it he's playing in the under-21s and knocking goals? He started knocking goals in. Answer me that. If anyone can answer me that, chat, let me know. I would be so keen to find out. I mean, we don't know what the details of those contracts are, but I mean, if Rutte uh, didn't come on because of a contract issue, meaning that he plays so many games for us in the first team, and then Leeds are on for his transfer fees, £35 million. Pound apart, it's supposedly, but I sit there and I think there's more to it. There's something not right. Now, Big Sam says that he's not going to be ready until next season anyway, which sounds to me like either A, he's unfit, or B, Sam doesn't think he's good enough to get in the starting 11. So I think there's more to it than that. I don't see how we've got £35 million guy there on the bench, and he doesn't come on as a sub for an injured striker. There must be more to it. He's either injured already, and if he is, how's he even got on the bench? And this is another thing I want to pick up on. You know, we've got Giabi on international duty. Then we've got Matthew. I can't remember his last name. Joseph, haven't we? Matthew Joseph. And Sonny Perkins, I think, is also on international duty. So that's 3 players on international duty. Then we've got Bamford out and Rodrigo injured. We don't know the details of these yet. So the question is, who on earth are we going to play up front against Spurs? Answers on a postcard. I'll tell you now, we've had it. We have absolutely had it. By the sounds of it, we're going to be literally getting Doris from the bloody laundry or tea room to stick her boots on. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they get Robbie Keane to dust off his boots and give us 90 minutes and show us how it's done. He could show Aileen how to do one of his victory cartwheel flips things or whatever. Only if Victor Orta gave the players Marcelo Bielsa wanted. There is a point that at that moment in time we had Bielsa, that the club might not have had the transfer funds available. 49ers were just on the scene, but there was no sort of commitment, or not enough commitment for them to invest in players on a co-investment basis. I also believe that Bielsa turned down some signings from Orta. You know, Bielsa probably made sure that and kept Victor Orta in check, and I think that's what happened, because if you look at the crap that we signed after Bielsa went, you know, there's no way Bielsa would have got him, I don't think. Bielsa was someone who liked playing with a smaller, closely knit squad. And Orta just signing any Tom, Dick and Harry from any league he can get his hands on them is a thing that it just makes me think that there's more to this whole thing. It'll all come out in the wash, like this whole Victor Orta thing is doing it at the moment, isn't it? It's, you know, we keep getting dribs and drabs of information that actually Radrazani wanted to fire Jesse Marsh. I'm wondering if he wanted to sign Victor Orta earlier on. Sack Victor Orta earlier on as well. If we do keep the exact same team this championship, you're right. You're right. We are in a real mess, and it needs a complete overhaul. And at the moment, we don't even have a chairman who's willing to oversee that overhaul, because he's distracted by the bright lights of Sampdoria or whoever it is, some other Italian club that's in a mess. And we're honestly, we are in for a couple of very difficult years here. If this don't get sorted out, these problems are addressed, and we need. I think the fans need not an announcement, either an interview or a statement. I'd prefer an interview. Athletic, me, Or somebody else could talk to Radrazani, and we can find out what his intentions are. Interestingly enough, I was watching an interview today with the Athletic with Radrazani. It's dated 9 months ago, and he's talking there about why they sacked Bielsa. And he said, "Look, the fear was that we were going to get relegated. That we were mathematically at that point going to get relegated under Bielsa." And he felt that he had to step in and make changes to try and rescue us and stop us from getting relegated. Then we got lucky, we survived another season, and then here we are again. We've not learnt our lessons. Victor Orta's just been spunking the money up against the wall. That he's had no right to do that, and I'd be interested to see what happens in his career. And hopefully he could, wherever he ends up, Victor Orta, he could sign some at bloody Deadwood that we've got in our squad, and hopefully he can take them, and we can rinse them off onto Victor Orta, and he'll do us a favour. That'd be interesting. Against West Ham, after we scored a goal, we should have defended, but our classic Leeds United, we went and conceded 3. Yeah, well, this is what we've just said, innit? This is what we've just said. Terrible. I hope it doesn't. No. Robbles joined in August 2022. Interesting. So that must have was that a Marsh signing then, or one can only think that it's not Victor. It's not Marsh that signed him. It's probably bloody Victor Orta. It must have been. I can't honestly see that Jesse Marsh. Oh, we'll go to Real Betis. There's a guy there. Robles is. Nah, Marsh ain't got that level of. Of connection. I don't think in the game. Not across Europe. I mean, he's known in the European game, but really, I don't think so. I think we don't start Rutter. We can't sign it. We can't start him. We can't play him. Bamford's knackered. Bamford's had it, mate. He's out. He won't play again for us. In fact, I'm beginning to wonder if Patrick Bamford's on his, he's sat there thinking to himself, "I'm going to retire and that's it. I just get injured all the time. My body's just not up to it. I've had enough. I'm done." Or I'm going to go to another club where the level of football's a bit easier. I've just screwed Leeds over for 70 grand a week for God knows how long, and there's plenty of money in the bank. I don't need to worry too much anymore. So I hate to say that, but that's what it is. I hope we play Sonny. I don't think we can play Sonny Perkins. He's away. I think he's away on duty. I think he's been called. If he is, and if I'm right, that means that literally we don't have anybody as a recognised number 9 or number 10, an attacker. And it's interesting that they've recalled Geldhart. And I'm just wondering if we're going to try and use some kind of loophole where I think there was a loophole, but I think Sunderland's season's over. Now, if I remember rightly, there is some kind of loophole saying that, but I thought that it was January, that they could only play if they were recalled in the January transfer window. But I'm just wondering if there's something else that we don't know about that the club know, and they're going to try and get Geldart, get a shirt on Geldart on Sunday. That'd be amazing if we do that, get Geldart on. But at the minute, we don't have anybody. We just don't have anybody. There's nobody there to do it because everybody's literally ruled out now. Unless there's this Rodrigo injury isn't as bad as we first thought, and they've worked some kind of miracle in the treatment room. I don't know who on earth is going to play up front for us on Sunday. I mean, we're so thin on the ground in those positions that we've had it. Like, literally, we've had it. We've totally had it. I don't know if we can see the squad, but we'll have a look. Yeah. And apparently, is Diego Llorente coming back as well? Woba's. Yeah, that's old news, is that? I don't know. I don't even know. I'm gonna have a little look just to see on the website. But if we look what we've got here, I think that Sonny Perkins is out because he's on this international duty. We'll just have a look and see what we've got because I've got something else that's interesting as well that you're probably gonna think, oh my god, we're so bad, we are so screwed. We are so screwed against Tottenham Hotspur, my friend. It is unbelievable. Well, Geldhart was on loan, but he's been recalled to Leeds. Sunderland's season's finished, I think, hasn't it? Has it finished? They didn't get to playoff final, I don't think so. But the ruling is that they can't play. He can't play for us because, as the parent club, our season hasn't finished. So technically, he's still considered as being on loan. Now, unless there's some kind of loophole or something like that, because there are. If you ever read the Premier League rules of the game, honestly, you'll be there all day, all week or probably all month long. There's so many rules in that rule book. I was reading it recently, actually, and I was like, oh my god. Like, there's no wonder they've got lawyers now cashing in football, because the amount of rules and exceptions and exemptions that they have, it really is unbelievable. It's not a game of football anymore. It's like a complete legally drafted words and legally binding contracts and stuff like that. It's a real I won't say mishmash, but it's a very technical document. I'll put it that way. Joseph can't play, mate. I think Joseph's been recalled. He's on I think he might be on international duty. We'll just have a look and we'll see what's going on. Because honestly, we are so screwed. We are so screwed this weekend against Spurs. Just go back to that West Ham. It was spineless, shambolic. Any negatively worded adjective you care to use. Then we're going into the realms of crap. To be honest with you, it was utter crap, and we just haven't learnt a lesson. We haven't learnt a lesson, and I mean we've had 37 games now, and if we haven't learnt a lesson by now, we're stuffed basically. What we're gonna put up? Aronson is an option. Is this the central attacking midfielder who's not scored any goals? The only other option he's probably got is Somerville. Aronson and Somerville is one option. Sinistera's out. Diaby's on international duty. I mean, is he going to dare and put Archie Gray out? Could he put Archie Gray out for us? I don't know if Archie Gray's, but even he might be on an international commitment, so I don't know. We're so thin on the ground. We're so thin on the ground. It just defies belief. But if you look at the Premier League website, I'll just have a look and see if we can find our beloved club on the or have they removed us from the from the Premier League website already? There's no mention of Leeds United. They're already down, so get them off. Oh dear me, it's so bad. It really is so bad. I just, where are we? Oh yeah, there we are. I'm just gonna have a look, see what other squads we've see who else we've got in that squad at the minute. Premier League clubs. There we go. Yeah, so it's looking so desperate for us now. I mean, I've resigned myself. I think that's it. We've had it. We've had it, mate. We're down, and that's the end of it. We're done. We're a done team. We just don't have any hope of stopping up this season. Yeah, we'll have a little look at this one. Just a minute. Where's that tab gone? Right, so we'll just have a little look. Oh, so what's going to happen then? Well, I mean, at the minute, I think the only person we have, Brendan Aronson. The only person we have is Brendan Aronson at the minute. We're just... the rest of them, I mean, unless Rodrigo's recovered, unless Rodrigo's recovered, we're stuffed. We're stuffed. We could start the game with no recognised centre forward. Here's the squad here that they've got listed. These are the squad members. I mean, that we've got listed. Appearances 3. Matteo Joseph, yeah, he's played 3 times. So we've got Ruter. Can't play him. All right. This guy here, Matteo Joseph. I think he's on international duty. Sam Greenwood. We already know about. Injured. Sonny Perkins, international duty. Wilfred Nonto. It could be Wilfred Nonto starting then. Rodrigo injured. Bamford injured. McKennie, don't know. Joseph Snowden. Who the hell's that, man? Like, it always makes me laugh when you go through the player ratings, doesn't it? And it's an under 18 player. Best goals from his season last season. What? Get him on. He can score from halfway line. Yeah, might as well put a couple of youngsters out. Oh, overhead kick. This is like see that, but interesting anyway to see if we get some of that. No, I don't think we should put Greenwood up front. He's more of a midfielder, isn't he? I mean, I don't know. Big Sam will know now, I think, what the strengths and weaknesses are of the players that he has, and he'll have a good idea about who should be playing where. And I think that we're stuffed for Sunday, mate. We are utterly stuffed. When I do the preview video, if I do a preview video, Hello there, disabled team. Yes, good afternoon to you. We're just debating. We're just sidetracked at the minute, and we're just discussing who on earth are we going to play up front against Tottenham. Because right now it looks like we don't have any recognised centre forwards. Unless you know something I don't. And I suspect the chances are, because I know you're heavily involved in a lot of different stuff, the fantasy stuff as well. Do teams have to play strikers up front? Well, they're going to have to put somebody out in the formation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a recognised centre forward. All right. I mean, you could theoretically put the goalkeeper up front, and that kind of thing's happened in the past. I remember once upon a time, I think Stan Collymore might have played in nets. It's like the same thing when a goalkeeper gets sent off, and if there's no goalkeeper on the bench, then you've got to shuffle the pack and put somebody in the net who's not recognised. There was a case for Leeds as well. I can't remember who that. Did we put Carlton Palmer in nets once? Man, Josh is sat there thinking, who the hell's Carlton Palmer? I might be wrong. Man, Josh Dillon, how are you? Yes, of course. How did that Newcastle score? I know, that was an amazing goal, that, wasn't it? But, you can score from the halfway line. If the keeper's messing around on the edge of the 18-yard box and you take a kick-off and you see him off the line and you fancy your chances, you might as well have a pop, because the ball will travel so much faster than a man. And you get a bit of pace on the ball and a bit of air, and you've got a chance. But, that kind of thing takes hours and hours of practice. One of the best goals you'll ever see, two of them actually, Wayne Rooney, David Beckham. YouTube those goals from the halfway line. Incredible. I look at that was an era of football and a half, was that, wasn't it? Disabled team. If you're still there, do you know who we're going to play up front? Who are we going to play up front against Tottenham? Because at the minute, I think we're going to be really struggling. Reports are that the England under-21s are away, and there's other under-21 games going on, and our lads are involved in it. So we are in some deep trouble against Tottenham Hotspur. We're not going to win that. I mean, if we win that match, it's more than likely because Tottenham just can't be bothered. But they do still have a place to play for against Aston Villa, and there might also be European Conference League football in it for them as well. Possibly, I think if City win European, I might be right in saying this. If City win European Cup, they could be in for a Europa Cup spot, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. Oh, dearie me. On to the discussion. Who goes, who stays? Well, I mean, you'll have seen from my thumbnail that we've got a lot of dead wood. We've got a lot of players who I think, in my opinion, are on the way out. Who is Palmer, the GK? You mean Carlton Palmer? David Harvey, my grandfather always talks about him. Bremnon, Giles, Charles Gray, and everyone in the Don Reeve era, the greatest era of Leeds United's history. Man, Josh, my dad's same talks about the Don Reeve era. My dad was lucky enough; went to Elland Road regularly during that era. Grew up not far from Gummersall, so you'll know Gummersall. Might have to play 4-3-3 with 6 midfielders. I think we are. I think we are, by the sound of it. We literally just don't have anybody, and apparently, Rutter, the reason he didn't come on, I mean, we could all see that Rodrigo was crocked for a long time during that West Ham match, and he didn't put Rutter on, and I wonder, it's now emerging that Rutter is under some kind of contractual agreement between us and I think is it Hoffenheim, and it basically states that if we play him for more than so many games, we've got to pay him the full amount or a good percentage of that full amount. As it stands, that's not the case, but it makes me wonder how true is that, because he has been playing in the development squads, right? So I mean, does that count or does that not count? Is it first team? Is it non-first team? There's so much stuff that we don't know, do we? We just don't know. I've never seen a player's contract. Nobody else has. Only the lawyers and the people involved, the agents. I think Cooper should go. I think so. Yeah, I think Liam Cooper's. I mean, he might end up retiring if the injuries have been so bad for him, like they have this year. And he keeps constantly getting injured. But you see, I thought Patrick Bamford might have retired. He might be thinking about retirement, and I think if I were in his shoes, I'd be thinking, yeah, I might retire, or I might go into coaching, or I might do something else, because the body can't keep up with it. It's just too much. The constant pain and the injuries. I think Cooper he's likely one who might retire. I mean, you never know. He might just be like, well, you know what, I'm going to stick around for the ride and just go. I'll take the 50% pay cut. I've made my money and I don't need to, Let's say worst case scenario, he's earning 20 grand a week, right? He gets 50% pay reduction. We go to Championship. He's still getting 10 grand a week. So, is he really going to be that interested in retiring or leaving? Probably not. So Leeds are probably then going to have to think, well, we have to offload the liabilities, some of the liabilities, and then they're going to have to pound cost to say, well, what did he cost us last year in terms of minutes played, in terms of stats, what he did for us. And people, let's make no mistake, people think that because we're going down a division, it's going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. It is not going to be easy in that Championship League. It isn't. I've said it before. That Championship League is harder to get out of and get promoted than even getting wins in the Premier League, because it is just so full of good teams. You look at the two that'll be coming down with us this year. Leicester, decent side. Everton, massive side. Southampton, decent side. Then you look at what else there is in the Championship. West Brom. I mean, we're trying to get. Oh, there was a talk that we're going to try and get Corberan, weren't we? There's a lot of other good sides in that championship. I think it's. I think people say, oh, the Premier League's best league in the world. I don't think, the toughest league in the world. No, it isn't. Anybody who says that, in my opinion, they don't know enough about Championship football. Simple as that. Just have a look at the calibre of some of those teams that are going down there. The ones. Coventry. Coventry were bankrupt not so long ago, and there was talk of them going out of business, and now they're fifth in that league, and I think they're I'm right in saying that on the 27th of May they're going to be in the playoff final, right? So out of the top 5 teams, they haven't lost a game. There's them and Luton haven't lost a game. The other 2 have lost games. Burnley, Sheffield United. I mean, they're already up. So it's going to be that. I mean, I think I'm going to buy that play a final and watch that. And I might even do a watch along on it because I think it's on the 27th. And I'm just wondering if it's at Wembley or not. But just going down, Blackburn Rovers, another club that's come out of nowhere again. Resurgent Blackburn Rovers, Sunderland. And then you go to Millwall. I mean, we're going to have to go to Millwall next season. West Brom, Swansea, decent side. Watford, Preston. Oh, God, we've got to go to Preston. I mean, anybody... I sometimes think, Europeans and, Americans and that, they'll have no idea of how tough that league is. You've got more teams, 24 teams. That's 46 games. I mean, we've played 38, and they're moaning that they're playing too many games in the Premier League. Right? So that tells me that there's a lot more football to play, a lot more different places to go. I mean, Huddersfield, Neil Warnock down there, turns up, doesn't he, mid-season, saves them from relegation. Bristol, Hull, Stoke, Birmingham, Huddersfield, Rotherham, QPR, Cardiff. I mean, those are horrible those are horrible places to go with them. Reading, Blackpool, Wigan look like they're down, don't they? And I think Wigan have a goal difference as bad as us, but look at that. But even Blackpool haven't conceded as many goals as us this season. They've conceded 72. That is a solid league, my friend. I'm telling you, we are going to be stuffed unless we get someone in who knows the Championship inside out, knows how to do the wheeling, dealing. I mean, we've got a guy in there at the minute. There's nobody better qualified, I don't think, that we'll get than Uncle Sam. I think Sam is the man to lead us in that Championship because he'll have scouts all over the shop. He'll have contacts inside a lot of different clubs, and in my match preview against West Ham, I noted that Big Sam and David Moyes know each other from I think they played a fixture together against, and Moyes, who was the Preston manager. And I was like, bloody hell, David Moyes was a Preston North End manager. I mean, that's going back a long time, is that? I mean, he's switched on. He knows the game inside out. I think we stick with him. I think we stick with Big Sam. When we go down, there's no if about it anymore. Rutter has given us a puncture. Rutter, hello, Bandy. Yeah, I think we've said about Rutter that. I mean, we can't say what the truth is, but Leeds are on for the full amount of money if he exceeds so many games played or minutes in the first team. So that could be the only explanation why Allardyce hasn't put him on. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how crap he is. You've got to get bloody Rodrigo off the pitch and try and contain whatever the injury is, and it looks to me like he run for nearly an hour injured, did Rodrigo, and from the point the commentator first made a mention about it and me seeing it, I was like, yeah, he is. He's not moving well at all, is he? So we've literally played most of that game without a recognised fit striker. I don't know. Hello, Bandy. Yes, hello. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yes, good. Hang on a minute. Good. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah, of course. I know it's easier said than done, but we need to rip everything up and start again. There's no other way. Disabled team. There's no other way. I think. I think we've got a chairman who now is seeing great money-making opportunity in Sampdoria. If this is true, I mean, if this is true, Radrazani wants to grow a pair and just come out to the Leeds media and tell us exactly what's going on, and then at least he has the opportunity of either confirming or denying, and just be honest. Just be honest. If your heart's in Sampdoria and you couldn't give a stuff about Leeds anymore, don't delay this sale. Get it banged through and get on a plane and bugger off. And that's it. I think people will be happier then. But thanks for everything that he's done for us. And I think people forget that, He's done a lot for us. He's done a lot for the club. I mean, before we had that joker Chilino in, didn't we? And we weren't very good then. Even though things are grim and they are bad, we're still in a better place than we have been. And I just hope that Radrazani can make sure that he puts some systems and controls in place with this sale that, we're not going to end up in a financial toilet like we have been in the past, and we end up having to ring Ken Bates or get Ken Bates into the rescue again, and all of that. I mean, Manjosh won't know what I'm talking about, but those were dark days. I mean, Manjosh, Leeds United was almost wiped off the face of the footballing map at one point in recent history. During that 16-year period of absence, the club nearly went out of business, and assets were almost taken by the administrators to sell off. And I think Bates bought the club for £1, but then took the liabilities, didn't he? So, Radrazani's done tremendous things for us. But like I say, I'd like to hear something from him directly. There's a lot of waffle goes on in the media. It's all clickbait crap, a lot of it. And I think that it would be a good idea for Radrazani now, after this Tottenham game, to come out and outline his intentions with the club so that we know what his vision is or what his ideas are going forward into the next season, because if he's not in it, he needs to get out as soon as he possibly can and get somebody in who's going to guide us. Otherwise we'll drop like a stone through the Championship and we'll be going down even further. That sort of business side of it, and it really needs to be in place before the club can make any decisions on the footballing side, right? This is my opinion. Tell me, chat, you agree or not? Good. Everybody's good. We're all hanging on in there, chat. We're all hanging on. Watford will be strong. Yeah. They're all strong teams in that Championship. There isn't an easy away game at all, I don't think. I don't think there's an easy away game. I said it in the Premier League. In the Premier League, it's bad. Championship, it'll be even worse, mate. Going to some of them grounds, you go to Preston on a December night. Horrible place to go. Deepdale or whatever it is. Watford, yeah. Got that one already. Just a minute. Well, oh God, we've got a few in there. I'm going to rattle through these as quick as I can. Playoff final is, Luton Coventry. That's 27th, I think. That'll be worth a watch along, will that? From a Leeds point of view, Cody Drama is likely to be playing in it. So, we might as well do a watch. I might do a watch along, I don't know. It depends if anyone wants to do it. Comment, yes, do it if you think I should do it. If not, we'll do one together, disabled team. We can just sit there and chat Leeds, and then when Cody Drama gets on the ball, yes, and Cody Drama's on the ball, yes. Yeah, it's wretched. Yeah, I tell you, oh God, it's wretched. This team against any of those teams in that would struggle. That team that we put out against West Ham would struggle to get a result against any of them Championship sides at the minute. I thought that second half was. I mean, I've seen, when you think at the moment it can't possibly get any worse than that, and I mean, Leeds United are just defying all the odds and all the beliefs. You sat there, you think it can't get any worse than that. The following week, they come up with something even worse. They're finding new ways to piss everybody off. I think we're all being trolled. I do. I think we're all being trolled. I do. I think we're all being trolled. You just suckers, you lot. And if you thought we were bad last week, wait till you see what we do this week. I mean, Kira, let's track back to that game against Everton. We were at Goodison, and we had no shots on target for 90 minutes. Just think back to that game. I mean, do we stick with Allardyce, or do we go for an attacking manager? Well, look, disabled team. My opinion is, I'd stick with Allardyce. Answer in the chat. What would you do, guys? Would you stick with Allardyce? The reason is, I think, Allardyce he's got great footballing knowledge, but you see, the thing that concerns me about him is his loss rate, and his win rate isn't that good. It's about 43%. And under Leeds United, of course, it hasn't got any better, has it? His win rate's got worse. Is that win? Someone's going to need to do the maths and say, is that win rate good enough? Would it have been good enough to get us out of the Championship this season, and do a mathematical model? The answer probably is no. And the answer probably is we would have ended up quite possible. I mean, this is just making it mental estimations that we would have ended up in the playoffs. And as Bandy said before, we've never been promoted from a playoff position. We've gone up as champions. So there we go. Blackpool have conceded fewer goals. Can you remember, chat, the name of that Blackpool manager? Ian. I mean, he were a bit of an hard case, wasn't he? He was a funny guy, he was. Blackpool keep bouncing around like a basketball in these leagues as well, don't they? I agree, we should stick with Big Sam. Okay, bye-bye, man, Josh. Thank you for joining us. Our friends at West Ham think keeping Big Sam might not be a bad option at getting us promoted. They have warned us that we won't enjoy the style of play. But, disabled team, I've said this for a number of weeks, and I if we get the 3 points, I don't care how we play. Like, literally, I don't care. And the reason I said that is, we look at the teams who have won titles. Look at the teams who have won honours and stuff like that. They don't go out and play glamorous football every single week. They will grind out results. They'll have fixtures where they think, what, we'll get a goal and see how we go. They get the goal, and then suddenly it just falls apart. They think, right, well, instead of playing a normal game, look at what we did to Man City. Man City were playing in the corner for between 6 and 8 minutes to try and stop us from getting a second goal and an equaliser. And I mean, by then they'd already wrapped the title up. Let's be honest, the title was already wrapped up when we played them. So I mean, for Pep to order that for their players, it just beggars belief. So you do have to grind results out. You do have to go in at games and think, we're not going to play something that's ideal as something that's going to be television worthy. Incidentally, it's been announced that we are selected for the BT, you know, whatever it is, British Telecoms, BT Sports, is it? Something like that. And we're going to be on the TV. So that just basically means they're sending a bunch of cameras to capture Leeds fans in floods of tears on Sunday. For nothing else, because they know that's what's coming. It's going to be an emotional day. When it's confirmed. I mean, literally, there's not a chat. I mean, it'll be a greater escape act than Houdini if the results go our way and we beat Tottenham by 3 clear goals. There's no way we're going to do that. Or 4 clear goals. I'm not 100% sure Rads will sell. I don't think he will. I think that the financial hit compared to selling when you're in the Premier League is too big. These parachute payments, what happens to them in the event that he sells? Do they go to the 49ers? Do they go to Rads? There's a lot of business stuff that normal fans just don't understand. I wouldn't like to say. I think that I've heard some chatter going on about if they do pick us up for a cut price and it's supposedly £200 million, that £200 million can get reinvested straight to the squad. No, it can't. These companies have shareholders to satisfy and investors to satisfy. They ain't going to be sat there thinking, oh, well, we've got Leeds United at £200 million cheaper than what we would have done if they were in the Premier League. Let's go out and buy a bunch of players. Doesn't work that way. Business doesn't work that way. That money, that £200 will be sat there. Oh, well, you know what? We're going to pay dividends this year to our shareholders or whoever it is. The directors, the chairman. And we're going to end up in a situation at the minute. The question is are we actually chairmanless at the moment? Because I'm beginning to think that if these reports are true and Radrazani's got his head in another space, and if the 49ers see that he has taken his eye off the ball as far as Leeds United are concerned, and he has done this year, and he's just trusted Victor Orta to get on with it while he's been concentrating on Danzen or whatever it's called. They need to be looking hard and taking a long hard look at him and saying, you know what, the sooner the better he gets out, but we might as well just let him get relegated. We'll pick it up at a cut price. We'll get him out of the picture when it's on. When we're in Championship, then we can invest a bit of money. It won't be 200 million, I don't think, and then we'll try and get them back up. And I mean, one wonders if Allardyce is actually advising 49ers now at this rate, because I mean he is the manager. There's no footballing or sporting director. Angus Kinnear's still there. Nobody knows what he does. just swans about the place. I maintain that our players are good enough, and they try hard. It's just that there's no sensible method, and our identity is gone. And we need a coach that will be good with tactics. Who knows who we are? Yeah. I mean, this is something that has been said in and around the circles of Leeds, hasn't it? That the players, there are players good enough. Most of them, though, Bandy, if I'm honest with you, I don't think they are. And I think this is something that we've put Luke Ayling on another 1-year contract, yet we've let Cody Drama go to Luton, a player who's half decent player, I think. And and his work is, is the best. The Luton fans will say, is the best thing since sliced bread. He's been absolutely brilliant for him this season. Same with Creswell. I saw Creswell play like you did a few times. Big, strong, powerful lad. No messing, defending. And he just never got a run in the Leeds team, did he? I mean, he made a few appearances for us. But, Orta sent him out on loan. And what did we get instead? Llorente? Got Llorente in? Absolute madness. Utter madness. He should have been in that first team if he could do it for us and develop him. Give him that Premier League experience, that Premier League game time that he'll need. And instead, alright, he's got a lot of game. These guys have got a lot of game time now in the Championship, and that'll help them massively. If now that they are returning one by one, it looks like they're all returning. So I have last day of the season special scheduled. I don't know if people are wanting to see it. I know BT Sport show the game in the UK. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Last day of the season. Are you doing watch along, disabled team? If you're doing watch along, I might just join you on that, and then I don't have to set it up myself. But I mean, it's up to you. Ian Holloway, that was it. Ian Holloway, you're right. Well done. Incidentally, that was the Blackpool manager, I think, wasn't it? When we attack teams, we get what you saw at the Blue End of Manchester game. Yeah, Guardiola shutting up shop. That's it. Yeah, we just haven't been consistent enough this season. I mean, we look at those points dropped. It's 25 from winning positions, and you just sat there thinking, we'd be 8th or 9th by now if we'd have been able to close a game out, and we weren't able to close a game out. And this is where, quite often, instead of not even getting a draw, just suffering a defeat. There's 25 points, man. They're so massive and so valuable. I mean, people are pointing to Patrick Bamford, missed penalty, missed clear opportunity, but it's not all on Patrick, isn't this? It all lies on the entire team, and they all have to own up and say, you know what, we just weren't good enough. We're out of position when we're defending. We're not picking up the right players. We're not tracking back quickly enough. We're not forming a shape when we're in attack. We're not retaining possession. All these things have led to this demise. 74 goals conceded, a new record, smashing the previous Leeds United record in the Premier League. Tactics, yeah. I agree. Leo Helder. Well, when he went, I was absolutely flabbergasted because I thought he was brilliant for us. When he played, I thought, I have confidence in him, and I thought he was brilliant for us when he was played. And this is another player who people forget about. We still have him on the books. He got Dan James in, and I rated Dan James, a player who I thought had a lot of potential for us. Pervader, another one, and all these other players. Orta, he did a lot of good stuff, but Christ Almighty, the dross that we've got at the minute. These lads from, and I mean, no disrespect to them. Adams is the only one I would keep. McKennie and Aronson, they ain't good enough. I don't even know what we've got in them. They've had one half-decent World Cup, maybe a couple of half-decent performances, and Orta's been convinced by Jesse Marsh that bring these guys in. These guys are going to turn this club around. Blah, 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 blah. Bluster, BS, as we know. And it's been absolutely shambolic. And that's putting it nicely. To be quite honest with you, absolutely, utterly It's been a complete shambles of a season. It just, it's so upsetting. So upsetting. I think Nonto will. I think he will. I mean, I know he probably wants to be on the big money, and he is on. I mean, he's on. For a Premier League player, he's on peanuts at the moment. Something in the order of between 6 and 10 grand a week. It's probably less than that. Is Nonto. But I think if Wilfred wants to prove himself, and when we do go down to the Championship, you just imagine, mate, he's going to have a field day down there. I think he's going to have a field day. And he can then say, you know what, I went into English Championship and I got 25 goals or 30 goals, and then you can put some numbers that are going to warrant. Let's assume that we come back up. You can then put some numbers in front of other teams that he played all these games, got all these goals, or did all these assists, blah blah blah. And what does that do? Well, it puts his value up through the roof from a Leeds United point of view. Any Premier League team wants to come calling then. Spanish or Italian or German giant, then you can start commanding top money for him. Would I want to see him go? No. I mean, he's got 5-year contract, hasn't he? He recently signed a 5-year deal. So, I mean, we've got him stitched up now, and he's there. But, I mean, I think what they'll probably do is, like Bamford. I mean, Bamford's on 70 grand a week. They'll cut his salary, but someone like Wilfred Nonto, hopefully they won't have to cut his salary. And I mean, maybe his agent's got some sort of deal in there or not. There's a lot of swings and roundabouts with this kind of thing. I mean, if we've got Wilfred Nonto for peanuts, there's no need to cut his salary. You just keep him happy, get him in the first team, get him showing his stuff, and let's start seeing more performances out of him. It's something that he's been one of those underutilised players, hasn't he, this season? Under the Grathia games, he was barely played, hardly played. So he's not had the opportunity to prove himself, an ample opportunity to prove himself in the Premier League. We know what he can do. We've seen him. We've seen flashes of it. But I think he could have. The thing is the frightening thing is that potential hasn't fully been realised this season. So more to come from Wilfred Nonto. Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. And I don't know if you've seen this, guys. I don't know if you've seen this, but we'll have a little look here. Will the 49ers save us? Yeah, I think we've kind of addressed that. Not necessarily. Unless they've got ideas and they've got their own management structure and things like that lined up. They're not gonna waver. They've been quite passive at the moment. They've not really done that much. But that's what some of the other streamers are saying. But some of them forget that apparently they stopped the Jack Harrison transfer to Leicester. If that's true, it makes me wonder how big of a part is Radrazani playing at Elland Road. If it took them to stop that transfer from happening, I think Leicester will probably be thanking the lucky stars, because Jack Harrison wouldn't have single-handedly saved them. They've had terrible injuries down there. They've got a squad that's aging. It's a bit depleted. You can't rely on Jamie Vardy at his age, 36, week in, week out, to go bagging 20 goals in a game, can you? I said it before, chat, about 49ers. Look at Liverpool. Look at Man United. You know, are Man United fans happy about the American owners? No. What is the actual budgets? What are the budgets available for this purchase? What's the investment? What's the investments that are going to be needed, and what are they prepared to make to take us over in the championship? You know, all these questions, and nobody's getting any answers, and those answers aren't public, are they? So it's a hard job. I thought, what's that under? It's a balloon. I've got a balloon under my desk. So yeah, I don't know. I hope they do. I think we're going to find out more about that. I hope they can have some kind of joint press conference with Radrazani and talk, and hopefully that's at length after this Tottenham game, and both parties can come out and outline what the future holds for Leeds United. One would assume that very soon they've got all the legal paperwork wrapped up and the agreements are in place. And I think that both parties have to come clean with the fans and let the fans know that, this is a strategy going forward. They can outline what Radrazani's role is going to be in the future, and what their role is going to be, and how they're going to be owning. I won't say running, because they might not necessarily be running the football club, and there is speculation that Radrazani might end up being a minority shareholder, and he just oversees the day-to-day operations of it. So who knows? It's all swings and roundabouts. It's all interesting stuff. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, what ideas do you have? What would you do? While you're thinking about that, chat, or typing those things, that's if you want to. I mean, you might not want to, but I thought I'll start thinking about closing this down. I'll start thinking about this. Just give me a second while I'm looking for a window. There we go. Is it this one here? No. Why can't I share that? That's weird. That's so strange. Just give me a second while I do this. Just give me a tick. Yeah, what things would you like to see Leeds do? I'll highlight those in a moment or two. Oh, that's a bit of a bugger. Right, I don't know what it's doing. Right, what I'm trying to do, I'll explain to you. I can't. I'm gonna have to go into my own stream here and see what's going on, because I can't. I literally can't see what you're looking at, and I'm just hoping. Yeah. It's a blank screen. Great. That's no good, is it? Maybe I'll have to download these photographs then. So the reason is, I'll explain the reason in a moment or two. Just give me a tick. Something interesting's going on today. I wonder. There's a lot of stuff I'm wondering about. I think you're gonna like this. I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. Yeah, it's not showing anything. I don't know why I can't share that window. It's not allowing me to do it. So what I'm gonna have to try and do is upload these pictures real sharp, hopefully, and then we can. Let's have a look. Yeah. So I don't. I mean, just a second. I just wondered as well, disabled team. I keep hearing these this music, opening music. It seems quite funky. What music is that? And then, do you get any problems with copyright on that? You can let me know as well in chat on that if you do, and I can talk a bit about it. Right, can I? Oh no, it's not there. Oh bugger! I've put it in the wrong section. Just give me a second. Don't tell me I have to delete these. Oh, for God's sake! When something doesn't work, and it doesn't work, does it? When it rains, it pours. That's what they say, isn't it? Alright, here we go. Let's try that again, shall we? So, the reason I'm going to show you this is because today up at Thorpe Arch, I'm going to go back to that banner in a moment. Today up at Thorpe Arch, they've got. We're looking here at Eddie Gray and Gary McAllister, and the tweet says, "Big Sam." Quote unquote. Hang on a minute while I will quote this so it's word for word. Sam welcomes some familiar faces to Thorpe Arch today. Right, okay. ALT. And it makes me wonder, like, why? Alright, that's number one. Why? Number two, are they hoping to get some kind of like inspiration? Because at the moment, having a 75-year-old, although he's considered a god at Leeds, god amongst men at Leeds, Eddie Gray, to a lot of these guys, do you think Ruter knows who Eddie Gray is? Probably ain't got a bloody clue. I don't know. But then we'll look at this picture here. One of my favourite players, Gary Mack, when he were playing for us, great player as well. King of the floated ball, I think that's the best way to say it. Up at Thorpe Arch as well, they're having a good old chin wag and what have you. And I sometimes think a photograph could tell us a lot, can't it? It can tell us a lot. So I'm just gonna see who's there. I can see Robin Koch, Max Wober. I think that's Ruter. Pascal Christensen, Ilian, McKenny, Junior Furpo's there. He's in training. And who is that there? Is that Tyler? That's not Tyler Adams, is it? Can you see on the right hand side there? Look, just on Eddie Gray's shoulder. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Can I zoom that in or not? I'm gonna try and zoom it in, chat. Just give me a second while I try and do that. But Tyler, if it is Tyler Adams, he's wearing Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realise I was off the stream. Yeah. I was just saying, this photograph says a lot, doesn't it? Look at some of the players' faces. Chris Somerville doesn't look like he gives a monkeys. I don't see Wilfred Nonto there. But I think disabled team. You say he is there. Is he in that particular picture, or is he in a different one? Is he in the other one? That's Sam Greenwood, isn't it? And who's that to the left of Sam Greenwood? Is that Rocker? I think that's Rocker, isn't it? Keep changing the bloody hairstyles, these footballers. You never know. They show up. There's a picture as well of these two. There's like little on Twitter. There's like little yellow bubbles, and it's like, what a shower. Any great? I think, I don't know. Is it too late? Is it too late for this kind of motivational speech? Getting the legends in to give them a bit of a G up for Sunday's match. That's if we have any kind of team to put out on the pitch, because at the minute, I don't know. It must be hard for the lads to try and G themselves up, given the situation that they're in, and it just makes me worry that, are we going to be on the end of a spanking? Nathan Patterson is also expected to be out. Calvert-Lewin, he's always injured, that guy. Got more injuries than Patrick Bamford. Savage. Nonto just under Sam's chin, is it? Let's have a look. I mean, he's got a big chin as Sam, hasn't he? Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good spot, is that, mate? I'll tell you. Wow. Yeah, that's an excellent spot. I did spot him there. That's an excellent spot. Well done, guys. Well done. Pub quiz material. What is it? Guess the player. One of those match of the day competitions or something like that. Well, look, disabled team, thank you so much. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining the stream. It's Jesus Christ, I never realised it'd run on that long, but I've got to go to work tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to a light day. I'll tell you about that next time. But look, let us know what your plans are for last day. I mean, I was going to do a watch along, but if you're doing one, I don't know. Maybe we can do a joint one or something like that, or comment on each other's. That'd be all right, and see how we get on. Let's just hope that we put in a performance, and let's hope. I think the fans won't expect anything less. That we've got to put a performance in, and that's it. And hope for a victory, and hope that we somehow miraculously escape. That's really all I hope for, to be honest. Thanks so much for joining. Take care of yourselves. What I'll do is I'll just say this, and it's not easy being a Leeds fan, is it? And just try and keep yourselves happy. Try and keep yourselves occupied. Do the things you love. If you enjoy the content, you know what to do. Sub, like, and all the rest of it really helps. And I'll leave a little recommendation up here. Disabled team, thank you so much for joining. Bandy as well, and man Josh, and anybody else who joined and cared to join. It's always much appreciated. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all hopefully Sunday, marching on together. Cheerio.